There are moments when what appears before us seems so small and self-contained that we assume we have understood it fully, as though nothing lies beyond what is immediately visible to the eye. A single point appears, and the mind recognizes it without hesitation, assigning it a name and a meaning. And in that act of recognition, it quietly concludes that there is nothing more to be seen. Yet, such certainty often arises from a very narrow field of perception, because what is seen at a glance rarely carries the depth of what is actually present. When the same point is observed with patience, when attention is allowed to rest upon it without rushing towards conclusion, something begins to reveal itself gradually, almost as though it was always there but remained unnoticed. The point expands, and within that expansion, form begins to emerge, and within form there is detail, and within detail an entire structure begins to take shape, revealing that what once appeared insignificant was never truly small, but only seen from a limited distance. This movement from the dot to the image reflects something essential about the way we experience life itself, because we often encounter situations in their smallest expression, and from that limited view, we begin to construct meaning. A single moment becomes a judgment, a brief delay becomes a frustration, and uncertainty becomes a source of doubt. And from these fragments, we attempt to understand the whole of what is unfolding. Yet, life does not reveal itself in completeness at any single moment, because what we see now is often only a fragment within a much larger movement that has not yet fully expressed itself. In the same way that the dot carries within it an entire image that becomes visible only when perception deepens, the events of our lives may carry an order that is not immediately apparent to us. What appears incomplete may belong to a process that is still unfolding, and what appears uncertain may be part of a movement that has not yet reached clarity. This does not require us to assume that everything is predetermined, nor does it ask us to accept an idea of control that lies beyond understanding, but it invites us to recognize the limits of our immediate perception. Because the mind tends to treat what is visible now as the whole, and in doing so, it seeks to conclude too quickly, forming meanings within a frame that is too small to hold the depth of what is taking place. When this tendency is seen clearly, a certain shift begins to occur, where instead of forcing understanding, one allows space for understanding to emerge over time. This space changes the way we relate to experience, because impatience begins to soften, and the need for immediate clarity begins to reduce, allowing a more attentive relationship with what is unfolding. If one looks beyond individual experience and observes the natural world, a similar pattern becomes evident, where what appears simple at one level reveals immense complexity when examined more closely. A single cell unfolds into a system of extraordinary precision, and a distant point in the sky, when observed through a deeper lens, reveals entire galaxies that were never visible to the naked eye. At every level, what once appeared complete is understood as only a beginning. In the same way, our experience of life may be unfolding within a structure that is far more intricate than what we can perceive at any given moment. From within a limited view, life may appear fragmented, uncertain, and at times even disordered. Yet from a broader perspective, the same movement may carry a coherence that is not immediately visible. The difficulty lies in the fact that we live within the immediate, and our understanding is often shaped by what is present now, without the benefit of seeing how it connects to what lies beyond our current view. And so the mind attempts to complete the picture prematurely, seeking certainty within a fragment, and in doing so, it often creates confusion where there may in fact be a deeper order. When this is understood, even in a simple way, something begins to settle, because the need to define every moment begins to lose its intensity, and a different relationship with life starts to emerge. An obstacle is no longer seen only as a disruption, but as part of a movement whose direction may not yet be visible. And a delay is no longer experienced only as a loss, but as a pause within a process that is still taking shape. This does not remove difficulty from life, nor does it suggest that every experience carries an immediate meaning that can be understood, but it allows one to remain open to the possibility that what is seen now is not the whole. There is a quiet humility in this way of looking, because it acknowledges that perception has its limits, and that understanding often requires time, attention, and a willingness to remain with what is not yet clear. When this humility is present, the relationship with life begins to change in a subtle yet profound way, because one no longer rushes to conclude, and in that absence of haste, a deeper clarity begins to emerge. The question then is no longer confined to what is happening in this moment, but extends into a wider inquiry that asks what this moment may belong to, and in that question, perception itself begins to expand. What once appeared as a small and isolated point begins to connect with something far more expansive, and life is no longer seen as a series of disconnected events, but as a continuous movement in which each part holds its place within a larger unfolding. And perhaps this is where a different kind of understanding begins, not in what is immediately visible, but in the willingness to look beyond it, because what appears as a dot may only be the beginning of something far more complete, and what we call uncertainty may simply be a stage in a process that has not yet revealed its full form.